When determining how many wires, devices, and cables can safely be installed in an electrical box, you must adhere to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, guidelines for box fill. The NEC specifies rules to prevent overcrowding, which can lead to overheating and potential fire hazards. The box fill calculation involves several factors, including the volume of the box, the number and size of conductors, the number of devices like switches and receptacles, and the presence of any internal cable clamps or equipment grounding conductors. To calculate the maximum number of conductors allowed in a box, you first need to know the volume of the box, which is typically stamped on the inside or outside of the box in cubic inches. Then, you need to account for each conductor, device, and fitting inside the box according to the NEC equivalent volume rules. Firstly, each current carrying conductor and each equipment grounding conductor counts as one conductor. Secondly, cable clamps inside the box count as one conductor based on the largest conductor entering the box. Thirdly, each device, such as a switch or receptacle, counts as two conductors. Fourthly, conductors that originate and terminate within the box, such as a pigtail connection, are not counted. The equivalent volume for each conductor size is specified in the NEC. For example, a number 14 American wire gauge or AUG conductor has an equivalent volume of 2.0 cubic inches, and a number 12 AWG conductor has an equivalent volume of 2.25 cubic inches. To determine the total conductor volume, you add up the equivalent volume of all conductors, devices, and fittings in the box. This total volume must not exceed the volume of the box. Now let's consider a specific scenario. You asked about the number of 12/2 and 14/2 cables, a single pole switch, and an outlet that can go inside a box. Assume the box has a volume of 20 cubic inches. Firstly, let's analyze the conductors from the cables. Each 12/2 cable has two current carrying conductors, a hot and a neutral, and one equipment grounding conductor for a total of 3 conductors. Each 14/2 cable also has 3 conductors, 2 current carrying and 1 equipment grounding conductor. Secondly, the switch counts as 2 conductors based on the NEC rules, and the outlet also counts as 2 conductors. Thirdly, let's consider the equipment grounding conductors. If all the cables are entering the box, you would typically have 1 equipment grounding conductor for each cable, which needs to be connected together. However, regardless of the number of equipment grounding conductors, they only count as 1 conductor in the box fill calculation. Now let's calculate the box fill for 1 12/2 cable, 1 14/2 cable, 1 switch, and 1 outlet. 1 12/2 cable contributes 3 conductors, which equates to 3 times 2.25 cubic inches, which equals 6.75 cubic inches. 1 14/2 cable contributes 3 conductors, which equates to 3 times 2.0 cubic inches, which equals 6.0 cubic inches. The switch contributes 2 conductors, which equates to 2 times 2.25 cubic inches, which equals 4.5 cubic inches, because you must use the largest conductor size connected to the device for the calculation. The outlet contributes 2 conductors, which equates to 2 times 2.25 cubic inches, which equals 4.5 cubic inches, for the same reason as the switch. The equipment grounding conductors collectively contribute 1 conductor, using the largest conductor size, which equates to 1 times 2.25 cubic inches, which equals 2.25 cubic inches. The total volume required is therefore 6.75 plus 6.0 plus 4.5 plus 4.5 plus 2.25, which equals 24.0 cubic inches. In this scenario, a 20 cubic inch box would be insufficient, as the total required volume is 24.0 cubic inches. You would need a larger box. Let's try to determine the maximum number of items that can fit into the 20 cubic inch box. Let's start with the maximum number of 14/2 cables. If we assume only 14/2 cables are used, each cable contributes 3 conductors. With a volume of 2.0 cubic inches per conductor, each 14/2 cable requires 6.0 cubic inches of box fill. Therefore, A 20 cubic inch box could accommodate a maximum of 3 14/2 cables, as 3 times 6.0 equals 18.0 cubic inches, leaving 2.0 cubic inches for other items. Now, if we want to include a switch and an outlet, remember each counts as 2 conductors. Using 14 AWG wire size, each device would require 2 times 2.0 cubic inches, which equals 4.0 cubic inches. This exceeds the remaining 2.0 cubic inches of space. Therefore, you could not include a switch and an outlet with 3 14/2 cables in a 20 cubic inch box. If we consider using only 12/2 cables, each cable contributes 3 conductors. With a volume of 2.25 cubic inches per conductor, each 12/2 cable requires 6.75 cubic inches of box fill. Therefore, a 20 cubic inch box could accommodate a maximum of 2 12/2 cables, as 2 times 6.75 equals 13.5 cubic inches, leaving 6.5 cubic inches for other items. With 6.5 cubic inches remaining, let's see if we can include a switch and an outlet. Each device counts as 2 conductors, and since we are using 12 AWG wire, each device would require 2 times 2.25 cubic inches, which equals 4.5 cubic inches. Adding the switch and outlet would require 9.0 cubic inches, which exceeds the remaining 6.5 cubic inches. Therefore, you could not include a switch and an outlet with 2 12/2 cables in a 20 cubic inch box. To further illustrate, let's consider a scenario where we have one 12/2 cable and one 14/2 cable. The 12/2 cable requires 6.75 cubic inches, and the 14/2 cable requires 6.0 cubic inches. Together, they require 12.75 cubic inches. This leaves 7.25 cubic inches in the 20 cubic inch box. Now let's add a switch and an outlet. Each requires 4.5 cubic inches, totaling 9.0 cubic inches. This exceeds the remaining 7.25 cubic inches. Therefore, even with one 12/2 and one 14/2 cable, you could not include both a switch and an outlet in a 20 cubic inch box. It's important to choose an appropriate size box to ensure compliance with the NEC and to maintain electrical safety. Always consult the NEC tables and guidelines to accurately calculate box fill for your specific wiring configuration. In practice, it is best to err on the side of caution to select a larger box. This helps ensure the wiring will not be cramped and makes the physical wiring easier. Cramped boxes can lead to wires being damaged during installation or the connections not being properly tightened. This can also make it more difficult to work on the circuit in the future. Remember that these calculations are based on the NEC and are intended to ensure electrical safety. Overfilling an electrical box can lead to overheating, insulation damage, and potentially electrical fires. Always prioritize safety and adhere to the NEC guidelines. Furthermore, the type of box you use can also affect the number of conductors it can hold. For example, some boxes are specifically designed for accommodating more wires or devices. These boxes often have features like extra depth or wider dimensions. When selecting a box, consider the specific requirements of your wiring project and choose a box that is appropriately sized and rated for the intended use. Also, it is crucial to consider the accessibility of the wiring and devices within the box. Overcrowding can make it difficult to access and work on the wiring, which can be a safety hazard. Ensure that there is enough space to safely manipulate the wires and make connections. In addition to the NEC requirements, local electrical codes may also have specific rules regarding box fill. It is important to check with your local electrical inspector to ensure that you are complying with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous if not performed correctly. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge and experience to ensure that the wiring is installed safely and in compliance with all applicable codes. Furthermore, it's worth noting that certain types of devices may have specific box fill requirements. For example, Some smart switches or dimmers may be larger than standard devices and require more space in the box. Always check the manufacturer's specifications for the devices you are using to ensure that they are compatible with the box you are using. When calculating box fill, it is also important to consider the impact of future wiring changes. If you anticipate adding more circuits or devices in the future, it is a good idea to choose a larger box to accommodate these changes. This will save you the hassle of having to replace the box later on. In summary, accurately calculating electrical box fill is essential for ensuring electrical safety and compliance with the NEC. By following the NEC guidelines and considering all factors, including conductor size, device count, and box volume, you can determine the appropriate size box for your wiring project. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns.